This is a story about a big robbery in the United States. It happened in 1997 and involved stealing a lot of money from a bank. Normally, when people think about getting rich, they might buy lottery tickets. But in this case, some people decided to do something very wrong. They robbed a bank. There have been many famous bank robbers, but most of them eventually got caught. This story is about a robbery that almost became legendary because the thieves almost got away with it. It's called the Dunbar Armored Robbery, and it's known as the biggest heist in U.S. history. The heist took place on September 13, 1997, and it only took about 30 minutes. Just 6 people were involved, and they managed to steal a whopping $18.9 million. What makes this robbery even more incredible is that they left behind no evidence or clues. It was almost the perfect crime. The mastermind behind the robbery was a man named Alan Pace. He recruited 5 of his childhood friends to help him. Pace had worked at Dunbar as a safety inspector, which allowed him to learn about the bank's security measures and plan the heist. The group planned the heist meticulously. They disabled security cameras, ambushed the guards, and made off with the money in less than half an hour. They loaded the cash into a U-Haul truck and disappeared. The money was laundered through various means like buying homes and starting fake businesses, making it hard for the authorities to trace. The heist seemed perfect, and it went cold for a while. But then, one mistake led to their downfall. One of the robbers, Eugene Lamar Hill, used a stack of stolen bills for a transaction, and someone reported it to the police. This tiny misstep led to the capture of the criminals. The authorities eventually caught all of them, but most of the stolen money remains missing. Alan Pace, the mastermind, was sentenced to 24 years in prison. The others involved also received prison sentences, but a significant portion of the stolen money remains unaccounted for. In the end, the Dunbar Armored Robbery serves as a reminder that even the most meticulously planned crimes can be solved, and it's not worth risking everything for ill-gotten gains. Now, let's talk about another big cash heist that happened in North Carolina in 1997. This time, the robbery was carried out by a man named David Gant, who worked as a vault supervisor at Loomis Fargo and Company Bank in Charlotte, North Carolina. Gant was frustrated with his job, working long hours for very little pay.
14 hours a day with it, and you're in every bank in Charlotte.
He felt trapped and unhappy. He started joking with a colleague, Kelly Campbell, about robbing their workplace. These jokes soon turned into a serious plan. They enlisted the help of another person, Steve Chambers, and hatched a plan to rob the bank. On October 4, 1997, Gant carried out the heist, making off with $17.3 million in cash. The plan was to lay low for a few years and then split the money among themselves. However, Gant's extravagant spending in Mexico, where he fled after the heist, drew attention. Chambers and Campbell were arrested, and Gant was eventually captured in Mexico. The crew was busted, and most of the stolen money was recovered. Gant received a prison sentence, but the story of the Loomis Fargo heist became famous and even inspired a comedy movie called Masterminds. In another cash heist just a month before the Loomis Fargo robbery, Philip Noel Johnson stole $18.8 million from a Loomis Fargo armored vehicle. He overpowered his co-workers, drove away with the money, and hid most of it in a storage shed in North Carolina. Johnson later moved to Mexico City, but was arrested when trying to enter the U.S. The authorities recovered most of the stolen money from the shed. Johnson received a 25-year prison sentence. So, while they pulled off an almost perfect robbery, it was a small mistake that led to their downfall. The Dunbar armed robbery remains one of the most remarkable heists in U.S. history. Thank you for joining us in exploring this captivating story. If you enjoyed this and would like to stay updated on the latest news and analysis, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel.